Of course, I'm not going to argue with you saying that Taiwan has the better food, but is there anything that you would say that you like when it comes to the Swedish food?
Yeah, this is a tough question. Let me think about it. Can I really say no?
Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. As you all know, I recently came back here to Taiwan from Sweden, but I'm quite not ready to stop talking about Sweden, which is why I invited David, who might be the most Swedish Taiwanese, and maybe, we will find out in this video, maybe even more Swedish than myself.
Hello everyone, my name is David. I've been living in Sweden for the past 11 years.
You're also a podcaster and you're a writer and you're all kinds of things. Talking about living in Sweden?
Yeah, talking about my experience in Sweden or explaining Sweden in a way that Taiwanese could probably understand.
We basically switched. Like when I moved to Taiwan,
exactly,
you moved to Sweden. So like we have done, this is like the most Taiwan-Swedish exchange you will ever see. Why Sweden?
And I just thought I wanted to go to somewhere that I absolutely know nothing about. At that time, I knew about IKEA, H&M, probably that was it. Yeah.
You knew more about Sweden than I knew about Taiwan.
Yeah, but because at that time, it was a different world 11 years ago.
So funny because we both left our countries to move to each other countries for the same reason, that we just wanted like something different and like something on the other side of the world.
Yeah, I'm still loving my choice. So
me too. The first thing I did when I came to Sweden was realizing that there were actually a lot of things that I missed from living in Taiwan. So I thought, since you've actually heard a Swede comparing Taiwan and Sweden, I thought it's now time to hear the same comparison from a Taiwanese who has lived in Sweden. So, two flags, and we're gonna have 10 quick questions. First of all, you're just gonna let me know which one you prefer, and then we'll talk about it in more detail later on. First thing, service. Overall friendliness. Okay, so far we're saying.
Yeah.
Safety. 3 for 3. Why do you live in Sweden? Convenience.
Alright, I'm starting to worry.
Overall quality of life. Okay, there we go. Now we're starting to mix things up. Swedish fika or Taiwanese bubble milk tea. Oh!
Now, starting to feel a difference. Yeah.
Yes! Overall food.
This one.
Okay, fair enough. You're Taiwanese. Work culture. Weekend activities. And the last one is weather.
This one is a difficult one. Because I've been living in this country for a long time, so maybe this one. Yeah. Went
pretty much same as I expected, yeah. Starting from the beginning now. In my video, I was kind of like complaining about Swedish service. It's kind of like every Swede is doing it by themselves. Like it doesn't matter if you're a customer or if you're an individual. You take care of your own thing yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Sweden is specifically very famous for the DIY culture, do it yourself, like IKEA, for example.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ta-da! You pay money for furniture and then you have to put it together yourself. It's like the Swedish version of hot pot, I feel.
It could be a really good thing, but somehow on the other hand, it could also be a very bad thing for the people working because they need to work day and night to serve their customers. But in Sweden, you just need to do it unto a certain level, and that is already good enough.
Do you feel like you have become more DIY since moving to Sweden?
Oh yeah, like everything. Yeah, you need to check everything. Like when you find out there are something wrong in your apartment or the place you live, the first thing you do is not to call for the service because that would be so expensive you cannot afford it. The first thing is that you check online and to see how to fix things yourself, or you call your friends to ask them, what do I do?
Yeah. Second one is the overall friendliness. There's a survey talking about that Taiwan was the #1 country for expats, but the lowest score in that survey was that it was hard for foreigners to make friends in Taiwan. And I agree with this because I feel like Taiwanese people are amazing, their hospitality is amazing, but it's more like Taiwanese people love to take care of you. but it would be more like a mom or like an older sibling.
Not as a friend.
Not as a friend. So,
Yes.
so like we're not on equal levels.
No.
They're more like, you are a guest in my country. I will take care of you. And I will like hold your hand and lead you through
Yeah.
this amazing experience of Taiwan.
Yeah.
How is it in Sweden? Because I can imagine that Swedes don't give a shit about you as a foreigner.
No. No, also I think the definition of friends is different. So I think in Sweden, probably a definition that means you grew up together, you become like really good friends and really close friends. And also in Sweden, it's really hard to become friends with your colleagues because colleagues are colleagues for work, but I don't want to see you on the weekend, for example. So I think that's the major different definition. But also I think in Sweden, people really value the privacy in their own lives so much. So sometimes you just want to be alone.
And I would argue that you will not actually become someone's friend until you have been at their house. Like,
Exactly.
There's like a very, very big line there. I kind of got into a few, not arguments really, but just awkward conversations. When I'm talking to people in Taiwan, they think that they're friends with me, but I don't think I'm friends with them. It's more like you are a friend of my friend or you're my acquaintance, but if you've not been to my home, how can I call you my friend?
So that becomes a really good space to meet your friends, and you also like to get to know each other. How do you live, and see your interior design, although it's mostly the same.
IKEA.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh yeah, IKEA.
Oh, I know
Page 17 from the catalog. Yeah.
I think like people in Sweden are used to give privacy to each other. For example, like whenever I go out of my apartment, I would do one thing, which some people feel is really weird, and even some Swedes think I'm like overdoing it, but I actually will check the hole on the door to see if my neighbors are actually in the hallway, because it's a bit awkward to meet them. I don't know what to say. I'm probably say hi and say hey, but the thing is, people are rushing out. When you go out of your apartment, you are actually rushing out. So you need to give each other some space to really avoid seeing each other.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
In my previous apartment, I think I never really met the neighbor next to me. Never.
Because they also were looking. So
Yes,
so
they probably were looking at each other. So, we avoid seeing each other. And if you ever live in Sweden, if you really see your neighbors in the hallway, just say, hey. And that's it. You don't need to say like, hey, how are you? How's it going?
No,
That's too
don't do
much.
that. Yeah, that's too much.
That's too much.
Yeah. Everyone knows that Taiwan is like the safest country in the world. I just wanted to hear, do you have any bad experience living in Sweden when it comes to safety?
I don't. I mean, it doesn't really happen to myself, but to my friends. Simple example would be in Starbucks, like in Taiwan, you can pretty much leave your belongings in your seats while you go to the toilet. But I would not advise anyone doing that in Stockholm, because that will not be the same result.
Plus, you have to pay to go to the bathroom in
yeah,
Sweden
exactly.
too.
So
just don't go to the bathroom. Just
Yeah.
like stay in your seat.
Yeah.
Next one is general convenience.
Convenience.
You said Taiwan on this too.
Just you have 7-Elevens everywhere. That is one example, and you can do almost everything in there. Most of the stores have longer opening hours in Taiwan than in Sweden. So I don't know how many times when I was back to Taiwan, I forgot like those older stores have longer opening hours. I always wanted to rush to the stores to buy things before it closed. But that was
It's almost 7 p.m.
Yeah, 7 p.m. But no, it closes at 10, sometimes 10:30.
Then on quality of life, you said Sweden.
Yeah, it's always a dilemma, like what do you want to get in exchange of what? So for example, like Taiwan has a superb convenience, but that also means people need to work longer hours to achieve this kind of life, and that means their quality of life might be compromised. In Sweden, of course, we don't have a very convenient life. You need to rush to the store, sometimes to Systembolaget, which is the stores to sell alcohol, governmentally controlled, before it closes. Otherwise, you have no drinks. But that also means people can actually go back home in time. They probably just need to do their job 9 to 5, and they have the entire evening, entire night with their family to really bring up the quality of their life, which in many cases in Taiwan, people have to work long hours. They probably will miss the time of having a dinner with their family.
You did the unthinkable. You
Right.
said that you prefer Swedish fika over bubble milk tea.
I mean-
how dare you, as a Taiwanese?
Please. Yeah, I made a really unconventional choices.
You're gonna lose your Taiwanese passport.
I know. Well, I think after living in Sweden for so long time, I really like the Swedish coffee or the Brick Cafe. Sometimes I add milk, but I only do oat milk. And also, yeah, oat milk is really good. And also cinnamon bun. So, yeah.
Yes, of course. Did you drink coffee before moving to Sweden?
Before I moved to Sweden, I think like 2 cups of coffee is enough, definitely enough for a day. I drink like 6 cups a day.
Thank you. I'm trying to tell people that Swedish, we just like drink it non-stop, you know?
Non-stop.
While you're working, you always have coffee. Like as soon as you finish your coffee cup, you just go and take another
refill,
cup.
That's it. And you will finish the cup anyways. And also Swedish coffee, like Brick Cafe. I mean, a lot of people compare it to Americano, but it's different.
It is different.
The
It's
Swedish
so
coffee
different.
is so strong, and you need to be as strong as possible. That's how people like it.
Yes.
After dinner, it's really unpolite to not to offer coffee. After dinner, even it's like at 9 p.m., you need to offer coffee to your guest. That completes the dinner set.
Yes.
And it doesn't really affect my sleeping anyways.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go. You're losing all your Taiwan points, but you're getting more and more Swedish points right now. Of course, I'm not going to argue with you saying that Taiwan has the better food, but is there anything that you would say that you like when it comes to the Swedish food?
Yeah, this is a tough question. Let me think about it. Can I really say no?
Weekend activities. You said Taiwan.
Because in Taiwan, you have a lot of entertainment. You can go to karaoke. There are so many bars. And recently I discovered there are so many coffee shops in Taipei, like everywhere.
So many,
independent coffee shops. So you have
this
a
is like
lot of-
the Swede talking right now. It's like, the best thing
the
about
best thing
Taipei,
about coffee shop.
How much Swedish do you actually need to know in order to live 11 years in Sweden?
Actually, none.
None.
I mean, hey, that's it.
Hey, fika,
Fika.
kanelbulle.
Oh, precis. All the Swedes, like you, I mean, speaks perfect English. For daily life, if you just live there for a short while or just temporary for work for a few years, you really don't really need Swedish.
Swedish people don't like to talk, but if we do have to talk, English is fine.
And the Swedish people, of course, we say like friendliness or whatsoever, but Swedish people are really friendly as long as you are about to ask things. But when you don't really talk, people will expect your privacy. They feel like you don't want to be disturbed.
I would say that we're friendly, but quiet. And it's like, if it's not necessary for us to speak, we don't speak.
Yeah, not like in Taipei. If you are a foreigner, if you look confusing on the streets, people will actually approach you to help you, even you don't really need
that
it.
would never happen in Sweden.
No.
And then the last question I had was the weather. You said Sweden.
Yeah,
but that was like
because-
the main reason for why I left Sweden.
I think a lot of people feel like Sweden is really cold, but most of the time you just need to go out for 5 minutes, walk into a metro station, then you will have the heat in the metro station.
So like we're literally living the same life, but opposite, because I'm introducing Taiwan from a foreigner's perspective, you're introducing Sweden from a foreigner's perspective. So yeah, if you enjoy watching my videos but want to know a little bit more about Sweden, then David's podcast is where you can actually learn everything about Sweden in Chinese.
Yeah.
I should also mention that he of course also has his podcast on YouTube as well. You will of course have all the links down in the description. If you haven't already, please also subscribe to my channel and also like this video and share this video so we can actually increase this bridge of Sweden and Taiwan cultural exchange.
Let the two countries be really good friends.
And now, this is also the first time you are here in my apartment. So now I can officially call you my friend.
Exactly. You are invited to a friend's place now.
Exactly. And hopefully we'll be able to make more videos, more content, more maybe podcasts together as well. And if that is something that you want to see, please do not forget to subscribe to both our channels and also take a listen to his podcast as well. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lukas. Starts with L as in like, ends with S as in subscribe. Please do both, and see you all in the next one.